Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Today we'll be trying to climb with our favorite Pokemon again. If you guys can remember from my last video, I mentioned that I was going to try and using my other Scizor. I have two different Scizor. One is specially defensive and has like max hit point investment, but as a result she has very low attack, at least for a Scizor anyway. While this one has no bulk, but it has maximum attack and speed investment as well as a choice band. So I think it's going to be able to do a lot more damage. But at the cost of probably not staying in as long. But its stab bullet punch is very strong, so I think we'll have a very good go. Let's see if we can get a good time to use it in this next match. Okay, that's definitely a Sun team through and through. That is 100% a Sun team. I'm not really sure why they have Kingdra on their team, but there's no doubt in my mind that this is a Sun team. In fact, they have two Drought users. I'm going to try and shut them down as best I can. I already know what they're weak to. And I'm expecting Venusaur, but I'm not really worried about it. A lot of their Pokemon are weak to ground. I think instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start out with Latias as my second slot. I'll bring in Weezing in my first slot because I want to shut down their Sun. I do not want them to be using Sun for any reason. They sadly have a lot of fire types, so Scizor is probably not going to be very good here. So Zacian and Swampert will make up my next two spots. It doesn't look like I'll be able to use Scizor on this match, but that's okay. I'm sure I'll get the chance eventually. I do tend to see a lot of Sun teams, so that's not a big shock for me. Let's see what happens. Is it the champion theme? Sounds like it. I think it is. Alright, let's see what happens. Groudon and Venusaur, not even slightly shocking. I knew they'd start with that. But we'll be okay. We've completely shut down their Sun and their Speed Boost with neutralizing gas. Let's see if we can get a lot of damage on them. I'll start with Flamethrower. Or perhaps I'll use Protect, because they're probably going to use... Groudon's probably going to use its Blade attack. With Latias, I think I'm going to use... Actually... I'm going to go ahead and Dynamax Latias. I want to get as much value as I can, and I'm going to go after Venusaur. I know Groudon's very strong, but it's also not that fast. I mean, it's not tremendously fast. I'll go after Venusaur before it can get its speed boost. Because I'm assuming they're going to G-Max Venusaur. That tends to be what they do. I'll see what happens. Sometimes I might be at a disadvantage if I Dynamax too early, but other times I can get a lot of momentum going, and I'm hoping that's exactly what I'm able to do here. Thankfully, I do not have Scizor, so I'll be setting up Psychic Train, which actually does not impede me at all. Nothing I do about, like Scizor uses a lot of Bullet Punch, but if Psychic Train is down, well, Bullet Punch doesn't do anything. But I don't have to worry about that, because I don't have Scizor with me. Oh, they decided to Dynamax Groudon instead. Not what I expected. Well, let's see if I can do any damage to him. I'm going to be able to protect his Weezing. This will probably do a lot of damage to me even if they do go after Weezing, but I'm not too nervous. All I really wanted to do was just stop their initial strategy, and that's exactly what I did. I've successfully set up Psychic Train as well as stopped Venusaur from doing anything. And it is exactly what I was hoping to do. Fantastic. Very good start for us. Now they'll use Rockfall. Not what I expected. It depends on who they go after. Okay, they're going after Latias, which doesn't do that much damage. My Latias has a lot of hit point investment. She is the best, and I love her. I draw our Latias a lot. They still not set up Sun, and my leftovers completely negates any Sandstorm's damage, which is nice. Still though, they did successfully set up a Weather, so that's something I guess. But Groudon is a ground type but does not get the special defense boost from Sand, so we could definitely still hammer it if we really want to. I guess we'll just see what they bring in next. They bring in Charizard. And I think since Charizard is flying, that means I do not get the boost from hitting it with Psychic, or Max Psychic, whatever. However, I could still do something here. I think I'm going to use Toxic on Groudon. This Weezing does not do very much damage, but I can do something with it. I could try burning it, but I know that the chance of that is low. I guess I'll just use Toxic instead, because at least I have a perfect chance of hitting. Meanwhile, I'll use Max Geyser on Charizard and hope for a knockout there. Actually, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to hurry. I'm going to use Flamethrower on Charizard, and then I'm going to use Max Geyser on Charizard as well. So that way, if Charizard has a Focus Sash, Weezing will negate it. Alright, Scorching Sands. Does not do enough damage. Weezing is still alive. That Pokemon is very defensive. As defensive as I could possibly make it. Ouch. Okay, their Charizard is down. We're definitely in a good spot now. Rain is up now, and they're out 2 Pokemon. And yet we have not brought out Zacian yet. We're in a good spot right now. Okay, they use Max Flare, so they're going to be able to successfully set up Sunlight. Although that also did very little damage to Weezing. Luckily, the rain stayed up at least long enough to stop the attack from doing too much damage. And thus, our Flamethrower does more damage, so that's kind of fun. Well, they're taking too long to deal with Latias, so as a result, she's getting a lot of value right now. She's one-shotted 2 Pokemon in a row. Man, I love Latias. She's doing a great job today. Just like she always does. She always does her best. Look at that smile. She knows how good she's doing. Regieleki does not worry me at all. And it does not get the boost from... it does not get any boost from... it is not levitating, so it's not going to be able to escape my Psychic Terrain buff. With that in mind, I think what I'm going to try and do is... I'm going to Protect with Weezing, because it looks like they're probably going to go after it again. I'm going to go ahead and use Max Flare on Regieleki. Might as well take advantage of the buff there. No, I'm going to use Max Form Wind instead. Oh no, I hit Groudon instead. That was a mistake. Sometimes that timer kind of stresses me out. Oh, the battle was cancelled. Well, I guess I didn't need to stress about anything then. Well, that went really well for us. We had a lot of success in that match. Latias is the real MVP, honestly. She's just the best. I love her. I'm so happy I finally developed a team that can use Latias properly. I almost always see her in a support role, but I realize that she's actually a very good Dynamax lead because she has a lot of bulk despite her special attack. Alright, that definitely went well for us. We got a little points, not bad at all. And now we're on to our next match. We're about ready to approach 30 battles. By the time this video ends, I will have battled 30 times. And so far, our winning percentage is quite nice. Oh no, we're fighting Sonic? Just kidding. Let's see, Salamence, Incineroar. I don't see very much Salamence, but I do see a whole lot of the other 5. Kartana might be the one they Dynamax. But I do have a Fire-type attack, so I'm not very nervous about that. I'll go ahead and start with Zacian and Latias this time. Doesn't look like they're going to be using any weather, so I won't really worry about that. Let's see. Looks like if they have at least 2 Intimidate users, that's no good for us, because we do have mostly physical attackers. But one of our main attackers is special attack, and Latias does not mind how many times she gets intimidated. She will keep smiling at them. Always. Let's see. Other than that, I'm expecting Cortana. And I'll bring Swampert to deal with Dialga. I do see a fair amount of Dialga, and I do see a lot of Rillaboom, which is less good for us. But we have a lot of tools to take it out, so I think we'll be okay. Let's see what happens. Hope you guys have been enjoying the video so far. Please be sure to check out my other content if you have not already. You might really like it. I mostly just go through playing Pokemon with my favorite teams, but I've also been trying to focus more on uploading speed paints, since I also draw a lot. Preferably Pokemon of various shapes and sizes. Lots of Latias, though. I'd like to try and post some more Latias speed paints pretty soon. Here we go, battle number 30 against Sonic. Well, I don't know how he got into this game, but oh well. Let's see if he's as fast in this game as he is in his own series. Or his Pokemon anyway. It looks like the name has nothing to do with the blue mascot though. Alright, Dialga and Incineroar. Not a huge shock for us. In fact, this is rather common, I'd say. I'm aware that Incineroar's Intimidate will reset in Turbid Sword, but at least we're still neutral damage. Sadly, I had to remove Zacian's Sacred Sword to give it Psychic Fangs, since I ran into a lot of Aurora Veil and similar attacks. Given that circumstance, I don't know if I'm going to be using Dialga. I don't know what I should be doing. I'm pretty sure Dialga is going to be Dynamaxed, and I'm pretty sure it'll use Max Quake, which is bad for us. We don't want to deal with that, especially not Zacian. But on the other hand, if that happens, then we might potentially be in a good spot. Maybe. I don't know what to do. I think I'm going to go with Max Wormwind, and I'll use Brutal Swing. Because at least I won't do that much damage to Latias. That'll at least do a little bit of damage to the enemy Pokemon. And then Latias's weakness policy will activate, and she'll be able to do a fair amount to Dialga. Even if it doesn't knock it out, it'll still do some significant damage. Hopefully. Hopefully. I'm aware that Dialga is very bulky. I'm pretty sure that's like the main reason people use it as their banned legendary. It's because it has a lot of defense, and it tends to counter other legendaries because it could take anything they use and just hit back. And it looks like they're going to be Dynamaxing Dialga. Not a huge shock for us. But I'm not too nervous. I believe that Dialga is more of a special attacker, but that's okay. We do know that it's slower than Latias, at least. Zacian will be able to do at least a little bit of damage before it goes down. About a fifth of damage on Latias, which is once again more than I'd like, but at least Zacian typically is able to do stuff on its own, even after it uses Brutal Swing. Now I'll be able to use Max Wormwind with a +2. That should do a fair amount of damage. And it did. For a Dynamax Pokemon at least, that did a significant amount. I'll lower their attacks too, if they intend on doing that. Max Wormwind. Oh. I see. For some reason, I was not expecting that. Latias took that like a champ, though. She still has some. She still has a chance to win this. It kind of depends on what Incineroar does, and it does Flare Blitz. Oh, that may not actually knock us out, though. It did not. Thankfully, Max Wormwind lowered its attack enough. Okay, awesome. Even though our Pokemon are both very weak, though the enemy team does not have any I'll use, I'm going to use, yeah. I'll use Play Rough on Dialga. Luckily, they're out of priority moves, since Incineroar's Fake Out only works first turn, so it doesn't get to use that anymore. I'm thinking that Incineroar might switch out, so I'm going to go after Dialga as much as I can. That did a fair amount. I mean, I guess it could have been worse. I meant to use Max Wormwind on Dialga, but I think I misclicked. That's okay. Well, at least knock out one of their Pokemon, at least. Lower Dialga's attack again, although I'm pretty sure it's a special attacker right now. Kinda depends on what Dialga does. It goes to use Max Quake on Latias. Oh, excuse me, on Zacian. Which is actually okay for us. Latias is still around. Even though she does not have very much health left, she has something left. She could still fight for a little longer. Okay, our banned legendary is down, but their banned legendary is on the ropes. We've done a good amount of damage to it, and we're about to do even more to it. My Swampert has an Assault Vest, meaning it can take a lot of special attacks, especially from Dialga, and hit it back with Earthquake, which is awesome. Okay, they choose Kartana, which has who has like awful special defense. Kartana, however, is probably a lot faster than Latias is. But more importantly, okay, Kartana also has a Grass Stab, I'm a little nervous. If I call this right, I'm going to try and use Max Wormwind on Dialga, but I'm going to switch out Swampert with Scizor, because I think that Kartana might be going after Swampert instead. Because if Kartana uses a Grass-type attack on Scizor, it's not going to do anything, and I want that. But of course it goes after Latios, I'm in trouble. Hold the phone. Latios is faster than Kartana. This is news to me. I did not know that. That'll be another attack debuff for both of them, which is good, because their Kartana is primarily a physical attacker. Okay, awesome. Kartana did indeed use Leaf Blade, and it does nothing to Scizor. That is fantastic for us. Dialga uses Max Steel Spike, which will go at Latios, which will knock her out, but she did a really good job, and I'm very proud of her. Sadly, Kartana is still in the game, which isn't good for us. Meaning that Swampert is in danger of being knocked out very quickly here. Because sadly, it has an Assault Vest, but it does not have Protect, so it doesn't take physical grass moves well at all. It may not be able to do very much in this fight. There is, of course, a chance that Scizor will attack first, but I will admit I do not like my chances. I don't want to use Superpower. That will lower my stats, and I'll be locked into one move no matter what. I want to get rid of Dialga, because it's still able to do something to us. So I'm going to use Bullet Punch on Dialga to get rid of it. Even though that'll lock us into Bullet Punch, meaning it won't do very much damage to Kartana. That's okay, at least we got rid of their legendary Pokemon. And it did a crit that was probably unnecessary. Sadly, Leaf Blade will most likely one-shot Swampert. Oh yeah, that hurt. Sadly, I must have forgotten that Kartana was a possibility. Swampert was not a very good choice in this match. It did not do much of anything. This might be game. Kind of depends on what their last Pokemon is, which I cannot remember. Salamence. Crud. Intimidate. Still, I think we've done a good job, and we haven't lost quite yet. We still have a chance here. We no longer can switch moves, but at least Salamence takes neutral from Steel, so we might be able to do a fair amount of damage to it. I guess we'll see. I know that Kartana can do like nothing to me, but sadly that Bullet Punch did not do nearly as much as I was hoping it would. And never mind, Kartana has a lot more than just a Grass Staff. Crud. Alright. Good game. We tried our best. Latios did a really good job in that match. We definitely should not have brought in Swampert, though. Perhaps later, I might look into switching Regigigas with a different Pokemon. It's mostly just there as a distraction, but I feel like I could probably put a different Pokemon that's more effective in that role. I just haven't figured out who to put there yet. That's okay, though. This still went relatively well. Our second match was not super great, but our first match was excellent. So thank you everyone. Thank you everyone very much for watching, and I will hope to see you in the next video. Thank you.